So you've learned all of the white note major chords. I want to teach you minor chords. When you see minor chords, when you're looking at the chords, when you're playing along with lyrics or whatever, if they want a minor chord, they will usually put, say they want a C minor chord. They will usually put a capital C and the letters M-I-N, the first three letters of the word, to let you know they want a minor chord. So these major and minor chords are literally flip-flopped, which is why I have it this way. Major chords are built, remember these are the lowest note is this way. They're built with 4 half steps for the bottom 2 notes and then 3 half steps for the top 2 notes. Now that you've got that, it's super easy for you to figure out the minor chords because it's 3 and 4. I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways for you to work with this because everybody likes working with a different method. Some people really like this half step pattern, and then some people like working just with major chords and figuring out everything else from there. And it's just kind of a personality thing. Both are correct and both are just tools to help you get the right answer so that you play in the songs that you enjoy. So you already know major chords. We're going to start from C. If they wanted a C, they would just do a capital C. So if you see a capital C in your chords, you're going to play a C major chord and you're going to follow that pattern of 4 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3. So you have a C major chord. On the other hand, if it says C with an M-I-N after it, so it looks like minutes maybe, but it's actually short for minor. C minor is built with 3 half steps for the bottom 2 notes, and then 4 half steps for the top 2. So you've got your C, because you're looking for what a C minor is, so you build it from there. C, and now you need to go 3 half steps up. 1, 2, 3, there's C minor for the middle note, and now you go up 4 whole steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is a C minor chord. And compare it to a C major. So that's how a lot of people figure out their chords. They've memorized this formula. Major is 4, then 3, minor is 3, then 4, and then from there they can figure out all the major and all the minor chords. We're going to actually do that starting from, let's do this black note right here. So I'm just going to let you know this is an E flat. We're going to discuss that in the next video. I just want to make sure that you can figure out what all of these chords are and how to figure them out. So you've got a black note here. You go up, to make it minor, go up 3 half steps. And now go up 4 half steps. And this is your E flat minor. To figure out what the major would be, instead of going up 3 half steps and then 4 half steps, we can go 4 half steps and then 3 half steps. Starting from the same note, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that makes it major, that makes it minor, so that's 4 half steps, and now we need to go up 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. So there we go. There's the major, there's the minor. So when you're just sitting down at the piano and you just feel like playing something sad or mysterious or whatever, find your minor chords, because that's usually what composers will use. So say I want something, I feel like playing a bunch of black notes and I want a minor chord, and I feel like starting on this note, I'm going to go up 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3, and now 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I wanted to make that major, say I had a mood change, I would go up 4 half steps first. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I would go up 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. Major, minor. So that's one way that people figure out what the major and the minor is. It's handy to have, if you haven't memorized what your chords are for, across the board, but I have found that personally, and there's no right or wrong, this is totally acceptable, totally fine, but personally, as long as I know where the major chord is, as long as I remember this one formula, I can figure out everything from there. You just have to know what happens to go from major to minor. So major is like home base. That's how I think of it. And I'm going to go back to C because we know it really well. So we have C. We're going to go, to make it major, we're going to go up 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. So that's our C major chord. From any major chord, if the middle note, not the bottom, not the top, here, I'm gonna slide out for you. So if the middle note goes down, you have to know which way down is on the piano. It's to the left, not to the right. If the middle note goes down a half step, you are so awesome at counting half steps already. That means just going to the neighbor. If you take that middle note down a half step, that makes it minor. From any major chord, major, down a half step. Remember, we can't skip to a white note. We have to go right to the whatever the neighbor happens to be. Sorry, left to whatever that neighbor happens to be. So directly to this note makes it minor. You can double check it. You have 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. And then, because we're checking to make sure this is minor, right? So now we have 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. C minor. C major, which we've already memorized. C minor. So instead of counting up whole steps or half steps, so I've already talked about whole steps. Let me just tell you what it is really quick. A whole step is 2 half steps together. So if this is a half step, which it is, and this is a half step, which it is, this is a whole step. Just in case you're wondering what that is. So let's go to the F chord now. You memorized that already. You know that's an F major chord. We've already checked it. We've proven it using the formula. You can totally find the F minor chord following this formula, or you can just look at the middle note and lower it a half step. Whatever works better for your brain. They're both correct. It's just whatever's easier for you. So that way, so this is F minor. That way when we want a G minor chord, we know what G major is. We lower or go down a half step or to the directly to the note to the left, which here we are for the middle note down here. We're moving down 1 note. There's G minor. We can check it. It's 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. G minor. That's how you figure out majors and minors. When you are in a minor chord like D, we played a lot of D minor chords. When you're playing a D minor chord and you want to figure out what the major is, you do the exact opposite. Instead of your middle, the center note going to the left or going down, you go to the right. D major with that black note in there, D minor with the white note in there. I'll do it again. Here's D minor. I'll just use my fingers this way so you can see it. And then here's D major. D minor, D major. But remember, when you're playing, you're not going to do this because that's not what we do. We want to play in this zone of the piano. So your middle and pointer and ring fingers are kind of always in the black notes anyway. So just get used to getting cozy with the piano, because that's how we play. So D major, make sure that pinky is strong and standing. You don't want a flat pinky. That's gross. And you won't be able to play as well, trust me. You have major and you have minor. Let's do E. So you already know this is E minor, because you had that memorized from a while ago. You can do the formula where you count up to make it major, because you already know this is minor. To count up major, you go 4 half steps and 3 half steps, or you just raise the middle note a half step. Major, minor, major, minor. So these 2 outside notes stay the same. You have major, oh sorry, that's minor, minor, and major, minor, major. That's personally the method that I use to find out any chord. So as long as I figure out, say I want a chord on this note right here, and I want to figure out what the minor chord is, all I have to do, for me personally, I prefer memorizing one formula as I was learning this. So, I mean, you get to a point where it's all memorized. You just know what it is. So you're getting there. You're in that process right now. But while you're busy, it's helpful to have these formulas. So you can figure out the major chord. So from this note, you're going to go up for major, 4 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. That's major. And then move this note down to the left one, minor. So now you have 2 ways to figure out if it's major or minor or what notes you need to play for that. So you have major chords, it's 4 half steps, then 3 half steps, 4 on the bottom, 3 on the top. Minor, it's the exact opposite, 3 on the bottom, 4 on top, or you can just move that middle finger up and down to make it major versus minor. So practice the major chords. I highly recommend getting some music at this point, or some look up some chords for a song that you want to play, and you can get them for free all over the place. So whatever song, and start finding all the major chords. Major chords are just going to look like capital letters. So if it says E, you're going to do this. But if it said E minor, or it looks like E min, but it means E minor, you'll do this. So start just playing the chords as you're looking, you know, they're right above the lyrics. Start playing the chords and figuring out what notes you're supposed to play so that you get comfier and you're playing a song you really enjoy.